Hello, my name is Stella Musha, and this week on the story of my life we have Mr. Muso, Menas Musongelwa, popularly known as Mr. Muso. He is a motivational speaker. He has been a teacher for almost 18 years now. He teaches in Kwekwe and he goes around Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Holding history seminars.
Yes.
So we have the historian in the house today.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay, ma'am. How are you?
Good, good.
Thank you.
And welcome to the story of my life.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here today.
So today we're going to hear the story of your life.
Certainly, ma'am.
So who is Menas?
Menas Musongelwa, popularly known as Mr. Muso, he is a historian. I am from Kwekwe. I'm a teacher by profession. Currently, I'm teaching at a Camelot college. I started teaching in 2004 up to now. Then I transferred. I used to work in the government. Then in 2022, this year, I started teaching at a Camelot, which is a private school, where I am teaching, impacting, historicizing the students there at Camelot.
I can see that you enjoy your work so much.
Certainly, when I'm talking about history, I feel like jumping, sitting, and eating everything. I am the president of History Teachers of Zimbabwe. It is an association which is affiliated to the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, where history teachers all over Zimbabwe, we come together, we historicize, we research, we discuss, we write books, we try to make history interesting to our learners. No, some students will be saying history is a boring subject. We are here now as historians now trying to bring about methodologies that are going to make our history teaching so much exciting. So that is the association that we have. Then I'm also the president of Association of History Teachers and Lecturers in Africa. This is an association of historians in Africa who are teachers and also historians in Africa who are lecturers. So we are now fusing secondary, high school, and lecturers come together, come up with what topics, discuss together, and by so doing now our subject history, it becomes active in schools and also in the colleges or universities.
So, Mr. Muso,
yes,
you have put Zimbabwe on the map.
Certainly, I've done so. I've traveled widely because of this historicizing. I've been to Italy, in Rome, where I was teaching them, telling them about the history of the Khoisan. You know, we've got the Khoisan and the Khoikhoi. They are looked down upon in the society. I went there. I do tell them that these people, they were so innovative. They are so important in our history. In Africa, I went to Tanzania in Dodoma, where also I taught about history. I went also in Kenya, where I also historicized people in Kenya. I also went to Dubai. I also historicized people in Dubai. Then I was also in Cape Town, where also we are talking about history, but history now, it was fused with IC teaching. How can we fuse history and IC teaching? By so doing now, making history exciting to our students. Students nowadays, they don't want to read. They want to see pictures, videos, and so forth. So that's what I was doing in Cape Town. I also went to University of Pretoria, where I was presenting a paper again on history. So I've traveled widely talking about this history.
As you are talking, I'm seeing these men who have been traveling.
Yes.
Ndege after ndege.
Yes.
But take me back. How did you grow up?
I grew up in Mbizo in Kwekwe. My father was staying in Mbizo 5. You know, it's a high density area. So when I was growing up, I never thought I was going to become what I am today. You are just confined in Mbizo, a small area. The people that are there, they are not exposed much as those people who are in Harare and Kwabulawayo. So that is where I grew up. I went to Mtonjeni a primary school from my grade 1 to grade 7. But you know what? In grade 7, I was not bright as I am now. I had 29 units and I did not know what units meant. I thought 29 I had passed, but it was dismal performance. Then my father said, no, you're not going to Form 1. You have to repeat. So I had to repeat grade 7. I went to Loreto primary for grade 7 again in 91. I repeated, then I had 11 units. Then I continued with my secondary education there at Loreto. There's Loreto primary, then Loreto secondary. So I did my O level there, 92 to 95 at Loreto. Then I passed. And that is where I discovered myself. That is where I discovered the Muso that we are now talking about. I discovered about my passion. I discovered about my gift, that I am a teacher by birth. I have to teach, I have to impact, I have to make students realize who they are, realize their potential, despite coming from that environment that I came from, MBs, where you don't dream big, you don't see yourself becoming a big man. So I realized myself when I was in Form 2. In Form 1, you know, I used to, it was impossible for me to pass all the subjects. Usually I passed 1 or 2. Form 2, the same thing. But when we now came for Form 3 now, everyone at the assembly now, you were supposed to be given a class where we were screened and we were supposed to be directed where you were supposed to go, your class that you were supposed to go. And we remained behind, the few of us, and we were in the last class. That day changed my life. You know, when you went to break, everyone would be pinpointing it. Class, you know that. So when that took place after break now, I changed my sitting position. I used to sit at the back. I had to sit at the front. From there now, I started reading, started taking school seriously. And that is where things started to change. I started to do well in my schoolwork from Form 3. Form 4, I did well. Then later on, I went to Rio Tinto Zombe High School for my A level. Then I passed well. I went to Hillside Teachers College. Like what I said, I identified myself that I'm going to be a teacher. And when I was telling people that I'm going to be a teacher, people will be laughing at you. Oh, you're going to be a teacher. That's a lie. You can do what you want to do and expose yourself, and you have money through that. Then eventually I taught. Then I went to Midlands State University. So that is how I studied and how I became who I am now.
Like I alluded that you seem to be this happy.
Yeah.
You mentioned that people they say that teaching, teaching. But when you were taking teaching, was it about the money or you were passionate?
No, it's not about money. It's about what I like. You know, ma'am, I love teaching. I wish one day I could invite you to come in my class. I'll be excited. That is the time that I like most. Why? It is because that is what I wanted to be when I was growing up. So teaching for me is a calling. Teaching for me it's a passion. Teaching for me it's not about money. You know, if you pursue what you want, you are going to have money. Money will pursue you. But if you pursue money, you won't have money every time. So pursue your dream, pursue your vision. Ndege yechikoro semabhasikoro. Pursue what you want. You do whatever you want because you are pursuing what you want or what you like.
So, I'm going to take you back as you were growing up in Kwekwe.
Yes.
Did you have all these things? It
was not easy, ma'am. Things were just difficult. When I graduated, now I was supposed to go and teach. Since I told you that teaching was my calling, I went to a school in Zombe called Zamamba, Sama Dogs. You can hear the name Zamamba down deep there, where students are just discouraged, they are not inspired, they are not motivated, they don't think school is important. We went there. When we arrived, we made an impact. It was impossible for a student to have 5 O-level passes. So when I went there was another teacher who was like me, who was so passionate about teaching, Mr. Magebe. He is now at Rusununguko in Zombe. So he taught about 3 subjects. He taught agriculture, commerce, and another subject I don't remember. Me, I came there, I taught history, I taught Shona and also history. So the students who did those subjects now, automatically they managed to have 5. So that year when you came, it was for the first time that students passed their O levels. Come next year, same thing. So people were now asking, what is happening at Summer Dogs, at Summer? It was because of our presence. That is where I was identified again. Rio Tinto, Zombe High School, they to steal me because of what I was doing there. But things again, you know, when you are in the rural areas, when I was at Zombe, I felt challenged again. I thought, no, I should go back and do a degree. So that is where I went to a Midland State University. So when I went there, I finished my degree, came back now. Still, you know, it's difficult for you to become prominent like what I am now because you are in Kwekwe. So one of the days, Arthur Marara, a prominent lawyer and advocate, he is the person, I don't know where he got my number, he just phoned me, I heard about you because I've been scooping prizes. I've been the best teacher in Kwekwe for so many years. I've got so many certificates, scooping prizes, best teacher, not only in Kwekwe, in province, so many certificates, scooping first prize, history teacher. Whenever I teach a class, that year, obviously, I'll be the best teacher in Kwekwe, in Midlands. I've scooped, my students were having 30, if I teach 40 students, 30 or so will be having A's. If I have 200 students, I will be 130 something will be having A's. Then some will be B's, C's. If you see a student having a U or D, there is something, but usually it's the best. So after I just heard about that, he called me, come to Harare. My first time coming to Harare, and Bizo man, I thought Arthur works in Harare. When I arrived in Harare, you know, those days, the suits, the long suits and what. Come in Harare, so many robots. Arthur, I'm now in Harare. No, he used to call me Mkoma. I work somewhere there at Cliff. Look for combis. I was not driving by then. Look for combis. Come to Heathcliff. What? I had to look for combis. I saw Arthur. When Arthur saw me, he was so much excited. Mkoma, how are you? Tell me about yourself. I told him about myself. So, which business do you do? I do laugh me business in Kwekwe. What are you talking about? So that is where the journey started. So Arthur took me. Then the following year, now we started to have seminars, because by then he was having seminars around the country. He was doing motivation, FRIs. Now by then it was called divinity. Then I was doing history. We went down deep there in Shavane. We impacted. That is where we started. So people now started to know there's a man called Muso. Then 2017 now, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, they started what were known as learning area platforms. So each learning area was supposed to have a platform. So they were supposed to be a learning area for history. So they organized that teachers for history should come to Trotberg in Nyanga. We went there. When we were in Nyanga there, I was elected now to become the president of history of Zimbabwe. It was a milestone. For the first time now coming on ZTV, people now knowing about this guy. So that is where the journey started. But it was not easy again. Then things started to move from there, although it was difficult here and there. But I thank God for where I am now.
The teachers, we know that teachers, you deal with the mind.
Yes.
Saka zvichida kuti if you short change mwana pakumudzidzisa, this is going to affect the rest of their lives.
Certainly.
What message do you want to send out to all the teachers out there? Pamusoro pemwana wavari kudzidzisa.
But let me start by myself, what I've done. That's a very good question. We are dealing with the mind of the child. I teach at a high school. Let me start with a child who is in Form 2. I want to transform the mind of that child. I want that child to identify his passion. I want that child to identify his vision, so that come Form 3, that child will know whether I'm going to do sciences, whether I'm going to do arts, whether I'm going to do commercials. We are now having a scenario whereby parents are saying, I want you to do sciences. But have you identified the gift of the child? Not all children are what good in sciences. So that is where I'm coming in. I want you, my children, I want you, my learners, to identify your passion, identify the areas where you have got a strength. So that on its own, it's assisting the students now when they are coming for Form 3, that a child will go and do arts. Arts, they are looked down upon. But arts, they are so important. You know why I say they're important? When we pray, our Father who are in heaven, thy Lord, thy art. You are talking about thy art. We talk about that when you are praying. So arts, they're important. So let's not look down upon arts. So if a child is good or passionate in arts, let that child do. He can become a great singer. We've got great singers these days. They are artists. We have got also dancers. They are good dancers and so forth. When weddings are taking place, we invite those. Let the child do that. We have got also dramas. Those who do drama. Varazipu. He's earning a lot of money. Madam Boss. They do skits. Those skits. They are earning a lot of money. So let's not look down upon arts. If a child is passionate about commercials, calculating accounts, commerce, let the child do that. The same applies with sciences. Then I move on to Form 4. A child, when is in Form 4, they don't even know what they are going to do come A level. So again, we are now saying, my child, identify where you want to, what you want to do, which career do you want to pursue, what do you want to do after finishing Form 4. Then come A level, you won't have problems. When results are out, automatically you do what you do because you identified that Form 2. You also pursued that now Form 4. Now let me come to Upper 6. Upper 6, no, I've got a sad scenario. So many of our students, those who are writing this year, those who wrote last year, and the years at the back there, they don't know the programs that they want to do at the university. What do you want to do? I want to be a lawyer. But there are so many programs that are offered at different universities. What do you want to do? The degree programs that they talk about, they are so much limited. So we are now coming now to changing the mindsets of these learners. Students, research about what you want to do. Identify your vision again. If you identify your vision now, you know that at the university there's a program like this, like that, because you researched previously. So you know exactly what you want to do. Come results in February or in March. Not only that, now we have got polytechnical colleges. There are good courses that are offered at polytechnical colleges. Students, they are only exposed to the university. There are also teachers' colleges. Like I went to a teachers' college. When I finished A level, someone was talking about university. I said, I'm going to the teachers' college. When results were out, straight away I went to the teachers' college. You can go to a teachers' college and become a teacher. Not only that, ma'am, you can also go to vocational training centers where you are also trained, equipped by skills, carpentry, metal work, cooking. You can go there and you can even live and survive through that. Not only that, you can go also to theological colleges. You can become a pastor in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Hallelujah. Jesus is wonderful. You make people come to God. Yeah, you can. Some were born to be pastors. Some were born to be teachers. Some were born to be engineers. Some were born to be nurses. So identify all of that when you are in Upper 6. And that on its own, you won't have problems. But come results in February, students saying, I want scholarship. I want to go to India. I want to go to what? But does your parent afford? That degree that you want to go out of the country is offered in our country. Why do you want to go there? It is because of the mind. It was not taught that identify your passion, identify your vision. So teachers, I think around schools, they are also doing that. Now that we've got career guidance is done in schools, there's a period that has been allocated, but it differs with the district or the province. Some are even 2 periods per week, some are even 1 period a week, but at least it's assisting students to identify their passions, where they will go after finishing school.
I also know that you do guidance and counseling.
Yes.
We have noted with state concern what is happening to the girl child.
Yeah.
And to some extent, even boys being abused.
That's very true.
You have been working with children for 18 years.
Yes. What
would you like to say concerning the growing up of children and the abuse that is going on now?
Possibly, let me take it from a parent view of point. Parents no longer have time to sit down with their children. Parents no longer have time to pray with their children. In the morning, when you wake up as a parent, John, Mary, come here, open one verse in the Bible. Let's read one verse. After that, just thank God. Thank you, God, for the day. Because it's the source. That is important. Why? It is because when a child goes to school, he is going to meet other children. When a temptation comes, that child won't be involved in so many problems that we are having. I'm going to talk about drug abuse and also early sexual relationships that are taking place in schools. So that is the first point. Number two, when you are at home, even after work, sit down with your children. My child, you know what? Out there are people who do this and that. My child, you are seen for those who are in grade 7. Your body is changing. You are growing up. My child, come here. You are a boy. You see your body is what is changing. So when your body is changing, be careful, my child, because there are people who come in and try to do this and that to you. So be careful. We don't have time for that. We just let our children wake up in the morning, put food in their lunch box. They go to school. Come back. We are tired. Cook. Then we sleep. That is the routine. We don't have enough time for our children. Number one. Number two, we see that because of money, parents are going outside the country. They are leaving their children with relatives or with house girls or any other person. Now that child, now we are having challenges in that those children who are having that family setup now, they are the children who are drinking a beer, who are taking drugs, who are involved in early sexual relationships. Why? It is because they are lacking guidance. Parents are not there. Parents are outside the country. They are looking for money. So I'm now coming now to this problem of children now. Children in schools, children in different areas in Zimbabwe, they are having challenges of drug abuse. The situation increased during the time of COVID-19, whereby students were now taking the mutoriro, mbanje, that we used to know, and so many of these drugs that we now have nowadays, and so many of them, they are dying. So that is a problem. Some are bringing those drugs to school, some are directing other students in their areas where they stay, where a person is selling those drugs, is becoming a menace in the society. Early sexual relationships, our children, they are sleeping at a very early age. One incident which touched me, a child started to sleep around with a big man when she was informed too. So that continued until that child became HIV positive. And when she became HIV positive, the parents could not take it. They had to send that child away from home. But again, sending the child again, it's worsening the situation up to the extent that the child eventually died. So there is negligence. So children now, they need also to be impacted, to be taught about these dangers, these problems that we are having in the society, drug abuse, these problems of early sexual relationships. And we are also reading stories of parents sleeping around with their children, parents impregnating a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old. That on its own. Why is that happening? But if now we equip our children, go to church, take the children to church. Even if you are a parent abusing the child will run to the pastor and report, I slept with my father yesterday. That can assist. The child can run to the police and report that my father is abusing me. That can also help us. So we are having a society that is not God-fearing. So the basic of everything, the foundation of everything is the fear of God. Let's take our children to God. With God, all things are possible.
Thank you. Then we also see that the children amongst themselves, they are now sexually active at an early age. What do you think is causing all this?
Social media. Social media is good. Social media, when it came, we embraced it. But our learners, they were not taught about the negative impacts of social media. They were only taught about the positive impacts of social media. In the social media, we have pornography, we have got some sites which are not good. Children were not taught, you know what you do? My child say, Mama, Daddy, I want a phone. Mama, tomorrow I want a phone. Eventually you buy a phone. But do you have time to sit down with you after buying the phone? My child, I bought you this is a phone. This phone, you are supposed to use it wisely. Use it so that it could equip you. Use it so that it could help you. There are sites such as this and that and that. Don't visit those sites. Use your phone for your education. We don't have time for that. We just buy a phone and leave it like that. When at school now, the child meets other children, they'll be now, did you open this site? Click here, open this site. So eventually they're exposed to those dangerous sites, and eventually now we are seeing now children now being involved in some of those things.
We have also noted that there are some teachers who also abuse children at home, school children, and also like female teachers who abuse male students. What can be done so that we protect the children?
I think number one, the issue of guidance and counseling being introduced at school, it can go a long way in assisting the students. If students are guided, if they are told about they are guided, I think it will assist them in the sense that if they meet or if they experience that situation now, they can easily report to the guidance and counseling teachers or to any other teacher. Or at a school, we can have peer educators. Students amongst themselves, we choose peer educators who will be now impacting, teaching other students, such that when a problem like that happens now, a child, possibly if he has to go to a teacher, you go to a peer educator, then peer educator, he can tell a teacher, the deputy head or the headmaster. Then we can also have a suggestion box at a school, whereby when such cases are taking place now, students, they can write a note or a paper, they can put in the suggestion box. Then we see that it can also be known, and such problems now can be stopped at a school.
Now we see that you have written some books.
Yes.
We have textbooks.
Yes.
And novels.
Certainly.
Tell me about these books.
Let me start with the novels.
What inspired you to do this?
Yeah, let me start possibly with the novels. Like what I said, I'm a best history teacher. I'm known for history. So I thought that I am producing a child who is academically gifted. But that child who is academically gifted is morally rotten. So I thought that if a child is academically gifted and also morally upright, we have a good child in the society. So I was worried about the society. You know, my name is Manners. Manners, it means behavior. So we now are producing a child who is intellectually gifted, morally upright, a child who fears God. Then we have a better society. Then problems of drug abuse, early sexual relationships, they can decrease in schools. So that inspired me to write these two novels. Number one, I wrote about this one, which is called Towards Your Destiny. I was now inspiring them that despite who you are, you can reach your destiny. You know, I usually have seminars. I go down deep there in Gokwe. I go down deep there in Begede Buhera. I go down deep there in Chivi, there, where a child is not positive, is not sure about himself. There's no self-esteem. I was saying, you are a best man. You are a best child. You can, despite the environment, despite coming from that heart, you can become a better person tomorrow, a better leader tomorrow. So don't waste yourself. Don't sleep around. Don't drink beer. Don't smoke. Don't socialize with people who are not visionary. Go for your vision. You can become your best yourself. So that is what I was talking about here. I also talked about the issue of drug abuse. Don't take drugs. I also talk about the issue of early marriages. I talked about that in this book. Then here, the right steps now, morality. Right steps, I started on the Bible. You will be surprised. Our children, they don't read Bible. Even elders, they don't read Bible. They don't even know one verse in the Bible. When the Bible is the constitution for life, then they don't know about the Bible. They are just surviving without knowing God. That is very dangerous. So I was not saying no. The beginning of life is knowing God. Even if at home you don't go to church, but the beginning of everything is knowing the source. You are breathing, you are moving, you feel health-wise, you are okay. It's because of God. So I was now bringing them to God. If you bring these children to God now, we have won everything. These problems that they are having, they're experiencing, that they are seeing now, they will be a thing of the past. Because whenever a problem comes now, and they won't do that. So I was talking about what are the right steps. I also talked about so many things that happen in the society, about character and morality. I also talked about the P's of success. One of the P's, number one, purpose. Why do you go to school? They don't know. In the morning you bath, you take your lunchbox, first lesson, second lesson. But why are you going to school? They don't know the purpose. So that was the first P. When you go to school, purpose. I want to become a better person. I want to focus on my studies. There are demons that are going to come at school. Misikawa, those are the demons now. When they come, I remain focused on my purpose, because the purpose is to become a better person. So I wrote about what are the P's of success, and the last P was that P of persistence. Persist despite challenges. You can lose your mother Vashaika. You can lose your father. Those are challenges of life, but you persist, you persevere, you continue focusing on on your schoolwork. So that is what I wrote here. And I also talked about the issue of participating in core curricular activities. Students nowadays, they don't want to be involved in sports. They'll say, I know Guara say, and mine, but you should do sports. You should participate in sports. You can become a great personality through sport. So I was talking about that again in this book, The Right Steps. Then I wrote also textbooks. I also, like what I said, I'm a historian. I've written about 5 textbooks, 2 for O level, then 3 for advanced level, for A level. These books, they're used in schools as I'm speaking. So I just touched about European history, what we have in our curricula in European history. I also talked about Zimbabwean history, what we have in our curricula in history. So all the schools in Zimbabwe, they can access the books. Our publisher is EduLight. They can just get in touch with EduLight. They can get these textbooks that we wrote. Then these ones, they are published by Essential Book Publishers. They are in Norton. If they want to read the novels, they also get in touch with Essential Book Publishers. They can get copies, and the child is inspired.
But you see, especially with the books on the steps, we talk about morals and the 5 P's. Don't you think that this should also be accessible to almost everyone?
Yes, they can also assist. Let me tell you, one day one of my relatives came to my place where I stay. So there will be books all over. Then he identified this one, started to read. He said, no, this one I'm not going to leave it. I'm going with it, because these are for school children. No. I have seen something that is going to assist me. So they can also assist our elders in the society, because my foundation, my focus is on morality. An elderly man can also be a problem in the sense that in society, family are a problem. Akangoshka pani family anoba, that pani family anotuka vamwe anorova vamwe. Adult also shakare have a good person. It also assists. Not only that, those people who are into girlfriends again, also that. Yeah, I'm not small houses. Yes, you are happily married. Then you are having a smaller. Why? What for? It can also bring you back. Because I was talking about relationships. That focus on your schoolwork. This issue, my relationship, it will come. So don't worry about that. So it can assist elders here and there, but the focus is on the learners in schools.
Mr. Muso.
Yes, madam.
What words would you like to leave with our audience? What is it that you want to tell them? That if a man like me from Kwekwe can do this, you too, no matter what you are going through, you can do this.
I just want to, number one, I just want them to discover themselves. Discover who you are. If you discover yourself, I won't copy anyone. I just pursue who I am. I just pursue why am I alive? Why am I existing? God created me for these youngsters. That is my purpose here on earth. So that is why I'm doing this. Then when I'm done with this, I'm gone. That is why I was born. Identify yourself. Why did God create you? You're not created to do everything like what everyone else is doing. No, you have got a specific purpose why you were created. So if you identify your purpose, you pursue your purpose, you won't have problems. Although challenges come in the sense that there are people that you grow up with. When I started this thing, they was, we know you manners, what can you do? What can you do? don't worry about them. You'll be criticized. Again, another issue that you also face is that monetary. When you start some of these things, you won't be having money. So it will be a challenge to just focus on what specifically you are supposed to do because of what of money. But all those challenges that come, don't worry about them. Ignore them. Focus on what you were born to do. You reach your destiny. On top of that, now for me to be remembered, because I'm surviving for the youth, I went on to create a YouTube channel for history lessons. Again, everything that is in the syllabi is on that YouTube channel. Just click my name, Menas Musongelwa or Mr. Muso. You go there, Zimbabwean history is there, European history is there. I went on and took past exam papers, I recorded, put everything there so that students will be inspired, students can do their best. It was a problem again in the sense that to have bundles, you should have bundles and so forth. Me being a teacher, where I'm going to get 8 gig for what? But my passion, I knew where I'm going, I knew what I wanted. So that is why I had to create that YouTube channel and also the Facebook page. So don't be discouraged, don't be demotivated, don't worry about your name. You know my name, Menas, it's okay. What does it mean? You cannot even pronounce it. So if you consider that name, what's that now? Like a person and it's a guy, those names. Don't worry about that. You can change yourself. Don't focus on your name or the place of origin where you come from. I come from Zombe, deep down in Tombankala. You see that you only see cows and donkeys and goats somewhere. There are no buses also for the airport was all over. Then you say, I know I come from Tombankala. I won't be a great person. Those are lies. Ndege says, no, when I went to Italy, I was the only black person. Then I started to shiver. I went outside, started to pray, God help me, assist me. I want to tell them about history. When I came back, confidence. When I was given the stage, go on my YouTube channel, you see that one. If you give me the platform, what I know, I finished speaking. Everyone was just standing, clapping hands to that African. Ntombankala. So you can become what you want to become. So don't be discouraged, don't be demotivated, don't focus on what is taking place at that particular moment or your parents are dead. You lose your parents along the way. Don't worry about that. They are gone. Collect the pieces, move on. Become the best of you and become the best person you can. You can become the best person in life.
I'm going to take you back to when you were growing up. If today someone is saying, do you know that I've not eaten anything? I don't even have shoes. My uniform is tattered. Did you go through that? You had it easy. Your parents were there. They paid your fees on time. You had food. You had everything. How did you grow up? That part when you went to school running, maybe nemanga in plastic the chibagi.
Let me start on the issue of shoes that we have talked about. You know, when I passed my O level, my father could not raise the fees for me to go to A level. So what he said, I cannot afford you to go to A level. So I just want you to become, because he was working in Kwekwe in Zimbabwe. There's an industry called Zimbabwe. You can do apprenticeship, but no, I wanted to be a teacher. Apprenticeship was something else. So what I did, I had to go to a friend of mine. He had to borrow me money. I went to my grandparents. By then, my grandfather was still alive. When I arrived around 4 or 5. He started to look for my school fees. He came back around 7. Mzukuru wangu, this is my school fees. I came back. That is how I raised my fees. When I came back in town in Kwekwe, but Sekuru wani pa school fees. Now I need uniforms. I need groceries. Ndara anamari. So mama vakamanya, you know our mothers vakamanya vakakwereta and so forth. Maria kwana, but boots andina boots. So mama vamanya vakazoenda kune one of our relatives vakandipa handidzikanga mibhutsu idzodzo dzadzine ibhutsu dzoita zikamukasimbi so dzisingafitani but I had no option. I had to pursue my A level. Then we see kuti ndave A level now ndaona nzvimbo kuhillside teachers college. No money again. Chicha ndakaita now, we see kuti there's a friend of mine again anonzi Victor Piri. ndasangana nasisi vake. She was alive, she's late now, that is ainzi Regina. Ndasangana naye mutown, ndangoseka then is bag rimwe regreen, so ndangoisa hembe, no toothpaste, no whatsoever. Shama ndodaenda kuchikoro tavhura hillside, but handina mari school fees ndayanayo, but I don't have inonzi chimwe zvokudayana even a bus zvanzi handitise kumba. Mama vangatondituma kunoisa mari kucabs, possibly ukataura navo vanokupa. Ndo vanhu vakatozondireisira mari yekuti ndidini ndiende kuchikoro. Ndasvika kuchikoro paya ndasvika paya vamwe vari chichi, but still things were not well, but I just adjust, things zvakatanga kufamba zvakanaka, and today I'm here.
Mr. Muso,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inspiring words.
Thank you so much.
Stories of courage, stories of persistence, stories that can inspire you that no matter what you are going through, you can become who you want to be. Stories of our lives. The story of Mr. Muso has just inspired us to know that you can become whatever you want to in life. He said, ndege unodzikwira ndakukwira mabhasikoro. Just pursue your dream.
Hi, how are you? I'm Mr. Muso. Today I'm here in Kusununguko High School where we are enjoying the music being played by these learners. It's similar to what was taking place a long ago. The people long ago, they used to enjoy themselves using marimba, playing these instruments, entertaining themselves. During that particular period of time, when they were sitting, they were doing this playing. They were always enjoying doing at the play of marimba. They also playing at the drums. So we see that our history is rich in the sense that it reveals what took place long ago. What did people survive in the Mutapa state, in the Roshi state, in the Debele state, where are doing? This is what they were doing. On top of that, these are people, they were also making items such as maize, which they used to store their food. They used to store their food in things that they were making. These people, we also see that they were making pots, which they used to store water, which they also used to store their milk. So because of this now, the items that the people from above used to make, they reveal, they tell us more about how they survived a long ago. Nowadays, we are also making such a pot. We are also making such a basket, and they relate much to what took place a long ago.